All right, boys, as promised, we're back for the second half of this poem. And this annotation is brought to you by the General Pencil Company Kimberly, the 525 HB. This is actually supposed to be a drawing pencil, as you can tell by its metallic ending there. We're an all-boys school, but occasionally we'll let girls make an appearance, and here is one of those days where the Kimberly is going to make an appearance. All right, so let's start back with the third stanza. It is sonnet length, as is the fourth. And here's something that I didn't mention in the first video, and that is, look at basically every other line. We've got another structural feature that Shelley has worked in here, that little rascal. Look at this internal rhyme. All right, so let me read this stanza. That orbed maiden with white fire laden, there's your internal rhyme, whom mortals call the moon, So we have mortals and moon, we've got the alliteration there, okay? Glides glimmering o'er my fleece-like floor. Hear that? The internal rhyme, o'er and floor. Glides, glimmering, fleece, and floor. So if I ask you a question about that, I'll say, what's the predominant... I'll ask you something like this. What is the predominant... so I got a question here. What's the predominant acoustic device in line 3 of this stanza? And give the sounds that that comprise the alliteration. So here it's the GL sound in glides and glimmering, and the FL sounds in fleece and floor. Okay, by the midnight breezes strewn, and where'er the beat of her unseen feet. So I'm just circling these to get that internal rhyme. Which only the angels hear, may have broken the woof of my tent's thin roof. The stars peep behind her and peer, and I laugh to see them whirl and flee. There's your internal rhyme. Like a swarm of golden bees. Look at how the similes are making an appearance here toward the end of the poem. When I widened the rent in my wind-built tent. I need to zoom in there a little bit. How about that? I think I will. Okay, and we're back to this guy. Till the calm rivers, lakes, and seas, like strips of the sky, have fallen through me on high. That's a marvelous image, right? So the cloud, of course, is not... depending on the kind of cloud, cirrus clouds tend to be thinner and more scudding, sort of across the sky. Those cumulonimbus are those giant, like sort of bulky, anvil head-looking clouds. Okay, but these are more the cirrus, the thinner kind of clouds, right? So are each paved with the moon and these. All right, let's point out a couple things. So we've got the assonance in this line. I laugh to see them whirl and flee. That internal rhyme plus the high E sound, and then it plays here with the bees. So now, when I widen the rent in my wind-built tent, so a rent means like a tear. All right, till the calm rivers, lakes, and seas, like strips of the sky falling through me on high. So again, they're thin, so you can see the blueness through the cloud. Are each paved with the moon and these. All right, now let's take a look at this next stanza. A lot going on in this stanza. Okay, I bind the sun's throne with a burning zone. Again, with that internal rhyme, zone and throne. And the moon's with a girdle of pearl. So I'm back to, as you can see, I'm back to my own book. Okay, so what I wanted you to point out is this. And I'm gonna zoom in here a little bit so you can see my happy drawing. All right, now. So look at that. I don't know if you can see it or not. Let me see if I can draw it a little bit darker. Okay, so if we have, like, this is the sun, and the cloud is kind of rolling across the sun there. You can see that. Do I need to turn the light on? Man, the light's not doing us any good at all. Let's try to autofocus. Still not great. Anyway, so the cloud shows across the sun, but also at night. Okay, we have the moon here. Then we also have the girdle of pearl that goes across. All right, now what I want to point out is that the burning zone is a hot yellow, and the girdle of pearl is a pale gray. Now notice the girdle this should harken back. Your memory should be jogged by the should be jogged by the idea of the girdle from Sir Gawain and the Green Knight. Remember, he wore the sash across. It's also called a girdle. All right, then I wanted to show you another little drawing from down here, where he says the volcanoes are dim and the stars reel and swim. Maybe it's the volcanoes of those craters in the moon. When the whirlwinds my banner unfurl. When the whirlwinds my banner unfurl. It's just a marvelously perfect anapestic line. I may ask you a question about that. That's line 62. I'd make a note of that. When the whirlwinds my banner unfurl. From cape to cape. Look at that fantastic image echo. So a cape is like the end of a continent. You know, the Cape of Good Hope, Cape Horn. But also the cape like a garment. From cape to cape with a bridge-like shape. Over a torrent sea. Sunbeam proof I hang like a roof. More of that fantastic rhyming. So here, my drawing here is, these are the mountains, and they're like columns. Okay, the mountains, it's columns B. So it's as though the cloud that's going across here, okay, is being held up by the columns of the mountains. All right, the triumphal arch through which I march. All right, all these elements that are playing together, the bridge-like shape, the arching shape of the bridge, the roof that's that's supported by the mountains. We've got the triumphal arch, like the Arc de Triomphe there in Paris. Okay, through which I march with hurricane, fire, and snow. When the powers of the air are chained to my chair. When the powers of the air are chained to my chair. That's a relatively discordant line. I wonder if I'll ask you about that one. Is the million-colored bow? All right, so that's probably going to be a question on the quiz, right? That's some low-hanging fruit there. The example of hyperbole. Let me go ahead and back out a little bit. All right, we got the hyperbole, the million-colored bow. The sphere fire above its soft colors wove, while the moist earth was laughing below. All right, so the sphere fire, of course, then from your note, is the sunlight. All right. My drawings show up better at this level of focus. All right, now let's go to the end. So remember one thing: the sun's generally referred to as being male, you know, Hyperion, and then the moon is female. Okay, just want to point that out. I'm the daughter of earth and water. All right, so the cloud is the tenor for so many of these elements of figurative language. Okay, so here, you know, the daughter of earth and water. Of course, because it's, you know, it's born of, created by all the elements of earth and the water as it evaporates up into the sky, and the nursling of the sky. So again, see how the imagery goes from below to above and back again. I pass through the pores of the ocean and shores. I change, but I cannot die. Wow, because vapor will always rise and gather, right? For after the rain, looking at our rhymes again, when with never a stain, the pavilion of heaven is bare, and the winds and sunbeams, and their convex gleams, build up in the blue dome of air. So this is the blue color of the sky. Remember when Hamlet talked about the dome of heavens? I silently laugh at my own cenotaph. So as you know, this is a memorial monument of the dead cloud, but it can never die, as it's just told you. and out of the caverns of rain. Like a child from the womb, like a ghost from the tomb. Look at those two similes back to back. I arise and unbuild it again. I arise and unbuild it again. It's a paradoxical idea, isn't it? All right, so here at the end, this penultimate line is anapestic trimeter. 12 beats, 12 perfect anapestic beats. I am look at me marking this down here for you as a question. Right, and I'm going to go ahead and do an arrow so you know that's going to make an appearance on the quiz. I've been pretty good about doing that, right? I tell you in the video that you're going to have a question on it, and I deliver for you. Okay, all right. That's all I have really to say about this particular poem. A long one, and we got Skylark tomorrow. Well, day after tomorrow. And so if you have questions about this, I hope that you will give me a shout, and we will make it happen.